So our next guest has seen his state lose some high-profile incorporations. The biggest one, Tesla, when Elon Musk left for Texas. Joining us right now is Delaware Governor Matt Meyer. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
It's
Great
nice
to be here.
See you.
Thank you. Good to see you as well.
So what is the state of play here? Because we did have the Tesla exodus, and then there's been a lot of commotion around companies either wanting to be incorporated there, not wanting to be incorporated there. It's a bunch of Silicon Valley, venture capital firms that have effectively told startups don't incorporate there, and you've changed some of the laws. So what's going on?
Delaware is the premier place for incorporation, not just in the country, but truly globally. We have world-class courts. We've been the preeminent corporate franchise for over 100 years, and it remains that way. There have been high-profile companies here and there that have chosen to leave for various reasons over the course of that 100 years, and that's been true this year. But listen, the bottom line...
You don't feel that... Honestly, you don't feel there's more pressure today on Delaware? Look, you changed the law. I mean, that was not something you do regularly.
It is. We change the law every year.
You change the law every year?
Just about every year. Yeah, you got to keep up. Businesses change what they do, and we, too, in developing the preeminent place for businesses to resolve their disputes, need to look at the market.
So here's the question, though. The issue has been more recently, and I actually don't know what the right answer is, that Delaware was seen increasingly as more friendly towards the shareholder. So you think of like a shareholder democracy, you think the shareholders would like that.
Right.
And less friendly towards management or the founders. Right? And now it sounds like Delaware is saying, you know what, maybe we need to be more friendly towards the managers and the founders. But I assume if you're the shareholder, then you're unhappy.
Yeah, listen, there's always chatter about Delaware. It's too biased in this way, too biased in that way. My mom always said, if everyone's criticizing the referee, saying he's on the Eagles side, no, he's on the Giants side, then the referee's probably doing a good job. And so I think
I've heard that. Your mom came up with that?
My mom came up with that, yeah. My mom, who doesn't, she'd like walk in at halftime.
Everybody says that now.
She'd walk in at halftime and say that. And so, listen, Delaware, what I do, I actually have a background as a math teacher. So what I do when there's all this noise in the environment at a time of real political volatility, serious business volatility with tariffs and the like, companies continue to choose Delaware. We are setting records. Over 2.2 million entities, corporate entities, are incorporated in Delaware, more than ever before.
Who do you think of as your biggest competition?
Our biggest
right now,
competition
you think it's Texas,
now,
NVIDIA? Not NVIDIA, Nevada?
Our big, it's interesting. Before I came on, you were naming the winners and losers on the market yesterday. You were talking about Micron. I quickly looked. I think all of those companies are incorporated in Delaware. So there's chatter in the market, right? There always is. Our biggest competition, honestly, thus far looking, is companies choosing to incorporate and do their IPOs overseas rather than America, where our interests in many ways in Delaware are aligned with the American interest of making sure that companies are incorporating, growing in America.
I've got a question for you. I want to go back to the Tesla situation, because the Tesla situation is still, the ball is still in the air on Elon Musk's pay as it relates to the previous situation, or the previous plan, if you will. I'm curious, just as a math teacher, do you look at that situation and say that the courts in Delaware were right, that they were wrong? How do you think about that?
I look at that situation and I say it's a pending case before Delaware courts. I'm very proud that, unlike many other places in the country right now, we have an independent, truly nonpartisan judiciary. They're going to look at the facts and look at the law intensively and make the right decision based on the facts and the law.
It doesn't sound like they're on the side of either management or the shareholders.
I'm on Delaware's side, and I'm on the side of global business.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying the courts in that case made a decision that went counter to not only what the management wanted and the board wanted, but also what shareholders voted for.
Well, listen, there's an appeal pending. I think pretty much every decision that our amazing Court of Chancery has made over the years, there have been people who've been happy with it and people who've been unhappy with. And that case, there's no difference with that case. It's pending before the Delaware Supreme Court, and we'll see what they decide.
Here's what I'd say, though. In Texas, the threat of easier regulation, easier rulings, more owner-friendly.
Jury trials,
all of those things.
Tort law
but
that's not developed, intellectual property law.
But it's the same thing that's happening with competition for a new stock exchange coming from there. All of a sudden, when there's a competitor, everybody kind of changes their own rules and relaxes a bit. We've watched it kind of play out because the threat that companies have someplace else to go makes everybody change the law, and that makes you think, or change the rules of the game, and that does make you think that the judiciary doesn't have the freedom it had before if the laws are going to change to accommodate those things.
Right. Well, I assure you in Delaware that's not the case.
Well, but hold on, just to square the circle here. You changed the law. The situation that Elon Musk and Tesla were in before could not exist today if they were still incorporated in Delaware. Meaning, if we were to go back in
that's true.
I think if
you'd
you were
have to really look hard at the facts.
I think if you looked pretty hard and you went in a time machine based on the new law that has been implemented, this whole brouhaha over his compensation wouldn't even exist. And so that, to me, suggests the reason I was asking you earlier about what your view was. Clearly, the political view in Delaware is actually to side in this case, from what I can tell, with Elon Musk and not the judiciary.
Whose decision? Delaware's?
Delaware's decision to effectively change the law, the corporate law around this issue.
That's not accurate.
That's not accurate?
Delaware changes the law all the time.
No, I understand
every
that.
year,
but I understand
based
they changed
on
the law.
predictability and fairness in the law.
Right.
And we remain, there are over 2.2 million entities. We don't just, like, one company leaves and we dramatically change the law.
You're suggesting the law did not change as a result of this Tesla case?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. I mean,
really
the law you're talking about, Senate Bill 21.
Wow, Twitter's already getting mad at you.
Passed the Senate.
The Delaware governor
unanimously.
changed the law because of Elon.
Listen, we're not making law based on tweets. I hate to break it to you.
No, I know, but
can I be honest with you? I believe if I FOIA'd all of the FOIA, meaning Freedom of Information Act, if I were to get all of the communications between all of the political class in Delaware that voted to change the law.
Which is unanimous in the Senate, bipartisan.
Sure.
And a supermajority in the House.
The word Elon and Tesla would be in all of the emails.
You should do it, because it wasn't in any of my emails or was not discussed. It's about creating predictability. I apologize to you if people are spending time on social media. You can make
Forget about social media. You understand why people would say this is a law that is in direct relationship to the Tesla case. You understand why that would be?
Sure. People say all sorts of things that are not accurate.
So why did the law change if it had nothing to do with Tesla?
The law changed because when I came in as governor, we had to make sure that our jurisprudence, that our corporate law, which is preeminent in the world for creating a nonpartisan place for businesses to resolve complex dispute, remained predictable, clear, and fair. And there was a sense in certain transactions we had to revise the law so that it was clear to the judiciary. There was gray in the law. It wasn't about making one case go in one direction or the other.
No, it's not going to. It has no. Unfortunately, it has no impact on that case. But it was in direct relationship to how that case played out.
It was in direct relationships to numerous corporate leaders telling myself, other political leaders in Delaware, and business and corporate leaders, legal leaders in our legal profession, that there was a lack of clarity. There was a gray in the law that was hampering corporate decision-making, not just in Delaware, but in New York and across the globe.
To correct, like, what was kind of a mistake for what the end result was, though, too, right?
Correct. I mean, from a specific case, that's not accurate.
Can't see any other legal reason other than he makes too much money for a court to try to violate a contract entered into by the CEO.
Listen, I can't comment on pending litigation in any way. If you look at every action we've taken, you can FOIA everything, and people already have.
Is that a verb now? It's got to be in the OED.
FOIAing?
Yeah, FOIA.
Is in my
is that
life.
like FOMOing, too?
Yeah. And I think it's good. You should FOIA. It's public.